Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Moreno. I'm a mechanical engineering student at the University of Houston, and today I am going to be discussing the Engineering Code of Ethics. First, I want to start off by introducing who the NSPE are. The National Society of Professional Engineers is a group of people that met in New York City back in 1934. They created this organization that was dedicated to the non-technical concerns of licensed professional engineers. To this day, NSPE are the only national organization responsible of addressing the professional concerns of licensed professional engineers in all disciplines. Now, like any other organization, NSPE have their own vision, mission, values, and goals. Their vision consisted of a world where the public can be confident that engineering decisions affecting their lives are made by qualified and ethically accountable professionals. The NSPE have one sole mission, and it is to foster licensed professional engineers in service to society. As for their values, they consist of ethics and accountability, qualifications, professional advancements, and, more importantly, unity. Finally, the NSPE have a goal in mind, and it is to protect engineers, regardless of their practice area, from unqualified practitioners. They also want to build recognition for the profession and to stand against unethical practices and inadequate compensations. Now, for the next segment of my presentation, I'll be talking about the Code of Ethics and how it is applied all over the world to engineers. I'll also be explaining an ethical case which demonstrates why the use of ethics is so important. So, what is the Code of Ethics? And how does it apply to engineers? First, a code of ethics is a collection of rules, principles, and values that our organization considers significant and believes are fundamental to its successful operation. When following the code of ethics, engineers must always sustain the most professional behavior. They play a huge role in our everyday lives, and as members of these professions, engineers are expected to uphold high standards of honesty, integrity, fairness, and equity. The service provided by them are dedicated to the protection of public health, safety, and welfare. With this being said, I will now go into my ethical case, which I will be talking about a case regarding a chemical engineering professor who discovered that a colleague had taken credit for his research. Now, this chemical engineering professor, who goes by the name of Nasir, works at the University of Eastlands. Normally, many professors from different academic institutions pay a visit to the university and learn about research conducted by the university scholars, as well as explore potential collaboration. During one of these visits, a famous chemical engineering professor, Dr. Alston, came to the university. Now, Dr. Alston decided to stay for a while, and during his visit, observed various meetings that were presented by Dr. Nasir and his students. More importantly, he learned a great deal about the research that Dr. Nasir was doing in the field of reactor design. A few months passed, and Dr. Nasir had finally finished his project and was ready to publish a paper he had written on his topic of research. However, through an online resource, he discovered that Dr. Alston had published a recent paper that used identical theorems, the same background information, and even the same results that Dr. Nasir had written in his work. On top of all of this, the paper did not give a single acknowledgement to Dr. Nasir. Unfortunately, Dr. Nasir failed to take action, and since it was not common practice, there had not been a non-disclosure agreement between the two parties in conflict. This brings me to the Code of Ethics provided by the NSPE, which states that engineers shall give credit for engineering work to those whom credit is due and will recognize the proprietary interest of others. An important part of being a responsible, trustworthy, and exceptional professional is to give credit where credit is due. It should be stated that on the basis of fairness and equity, it would seem reasonable and justified that an engineer who has put in all their effort into their own research should be given due and appropriate recognition for the engineer's contribution to the work. Now, this brings me to the conclusion of my presentation on why the Code of Ethics are so important. Practicing the right code of ethics provides a framework and a standard for ethical decision-making within the organizations. The effectiveness of an organization's code of ethics depends heavily on whether the management supports and follows the code and how the employees who break the code are treated. To conduct a perfect code of ethics, it is necessary to emphasize the importance of communication and training. Communication is an ongoing process. The actions of the management tend to send an important message about the code itself. If the actions of the management are inconsistent, getting the employees to incorporate with the code will be a very difficult task. In addition, training is another key factor to the successful adoption of the code of ethics. The organization should instruct their employees how it wants them to act when faced with potential ethical issues. Finally, companies should strive to hire individuals with high moral standards and expect every employee to act in an ethical manner in all company matters. This is my works cited, and that comes to the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you.